when you have an e-commerce brand, you're basically poor until you're rich. There's not really much in between. The margins are thin. The operational complexity is high. Most brand owners really don't start making money until they're well into the seven figures with their brand. If you have a family, if you have a life outside of work, if you're not willing to work 18 hours a day, is e-commerce actually the right business for you? We get this question more than almost any other question, and not a lot of people in our industry talk about this. This is the checkout where proven e-commerce operators help you scale past 9 figures. I'm John Coyle. I've taken over 1,000 calls with brand owners over the last few years, helping coach them through this exact issue. With me is my co-host, Bart, who has brought his brand, Dad Gang, from the garage to $30 million in the last 3 years, while being a dad the whole time, being a family man. So let's get into it. All right, as you know, people send us questions, we answer the questions. That's the best way we help.
Yeah.
Just the two of us today. All right. So first one is, I've got a wife and 2 kids. I've been thinking about starting an e-commerce brand, but I keep hearing how brutal the margins are and how much time it takes. Is it actually worth it, or should I be looking at a different type of business? So this guy's just not started a business at all.
Yeah, I think it's so important to get, it's a little tough with the lack of context around that, because it's like, does this guy have any
experience? You do now.
Yeah. Does this guy have any e-commerce experience? Has he worked for online businesses before, or brands, or been in that world? Whereas like if the answer is yes, you've dabbled in it and you've known some things. Because I have a lot of experience in this from like, not even myself, but like watching other people jump into it unprepared, or like assuming, hey, that person started a brand.
If they can do it, I can do it.
Yeah, I personally always emphasize, there is simplicity in it. I think there is a lot of like overcomplication in starting a successful brand, or just starting, right? Just the starting point is always like, this guy's already saying, I'm thinking about starting a brand, but I've heard. And I think that like that aspect of but I've heard is kind of what keeps him from jumping or starting. Because there is a lot of like fear and complexity out there around starting a brand.
Yeah.
Whereas like if you just start, if there's just a green light go, like just go into motion of starting something, then sure, you'll find some challenges along the way, but there's so much joy in building and just starting something that you've been sitting on for a while.
Okay, so I'm going to assume the main goal here is to make money.
Of course.
Right. And honestly, that I don't think that's everybody's goal when it comes to starting a business.
Yeah.
But I'm going to assume
in this question it is.
Yeah, I'm going to assume the main goal is to like make money, increase personal income exponentially. That's what this guy wants to do.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm just going to assume that. I'm going to stick by a framework that I've said before on the podcast, and I always say to anybody who's asking me about what business they should start, either you should know how to acquire customers, or you should know how to fulfill the product or service. Don't learn both.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? So
yeah, of course.
I think people look at you and they say, oh, Bart just like started this brand from the garage. They don't realize that you were doing e-commerce for 10 years, 8 years, I guess 7 years before that.
10, yeah.
Right? Yeah, 10 years before that, you were and before that, you had like one of the, a super popular blog in streetwear.
Yeah.
And like you'd been doing some sort of like, how do I find traffic on the internet and direct it to buying something for like over a decade when you started Dad Gang. Yeah. And so you were figuring out, oh, how do I get these hats? And how do I get the designs right? How do I get them printed? You're figuring all that out, figuring out how to fulfill. But the thing you already knew how to do was go get customers on the internet. Right. I think that trying to figure out both those things at the same time is an absolute nightmare. And I would not, if somebody's goal is like, I want to increase my income in a relatively short period of time, I don't want it to take 5 years or 10 years or whatever. Yeah. Like I want to start a business today and have more income a year from now. Yeah. From my business, or I want to start a business today and be able to quit my job a year from now or 2 years from now because that income has replaced my income from my job. I wouldn't start e-commerce if you don't have experience in e-commerce. If you have experience in e-commerce, then I don't think this person does, because they wouldn't be asking the question.
Yeah. So
if they had experience in e-commerce, they'd have context. They would know, I think.
Right. I'm currently dealing with like 3 different individuals, helping them out, just like on the side, helping some friends and random individuals that have reached out to the brand that are in all 3 of these spots. Mm-hmm. So there's one guy, I'll just say he has a brand called High Voltage, and He's a lineman that works on power lines and getting your electricity restored and
Gotcha.
stuff.
Not like an offensive lineman in the NFL.
Exactly.
No,
Yeah. He's not
he
an
works on
offensive
power
lineman. Let's clear that up.
Just to be clear.
Yeah. He's
not an edge rusher.
He's the original lineman. Before there were linemen, he had to work on power lines, and he started making gear for himself.
Okay.
To work in, right? Some like imagine like Carhartt-esque type stuff.
Is there something different about that kind of?
Well, this is one example of a type of person that like goes into the decision is he just started making it for himself, and then other linemen and people that work on the lines like saw it, and they're like, wow, somebody finally representing a very niche industry in apparel. And he was messaging me the other day. He's like, there are like 400,000 followers on Instagram, which is so nuts to think about because it's such a specific brand, specific job. But he's like, yeah, dude, this thing kind of took off accidentally, and I had to do it, but I didn't have much e-com experience.
Right.
So like if he created a lot of demand by just building something for himself, and then by creating demand, that's nice to have because you're like, okay, there's a market that's like, if I put it out, they'll grab it. Now I just need to figure out these other pieces, like whether it's Shopify, fulfilling out of my house, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, what's a 3PL? Should I use one?
Yeah, and to add to that, I also have a friend that's like amazing at foundational marketing, networking, brand, kind of aesthetic, fashion, but more on the like cool, just like life side.
What industry does he come from?
Streetwear.
Okay.
But he's been out of that game for a long time, but then started a brand and is like, man, I know all these foundational things, but I'm struggling because I hop in a Meta Ads Manager and I'm so frustrated and lost. But at least he's got like a pillar of it. Secured, right?
And he's also trying to figure out how to sell stuff on the internet, like how does Shopify work?
How do you stand out as an apparel brand in a sea of apparel brands?
Well, I mean, even just like, is he trying to figure out how to fulfill the orders? Does that make sense? See, that I think is the most difficult position to be in. Like you said, he does understand at least a pillar of it. He gets a little bit of it. That's a little bit better. But I think that's the most difficult position to be in, where it's like, I don't know how to get customers, and I don't even I have to spend all this time even like building the website and making sure when an order comes in, I get it, and there's a way to fulfill it and all that stuff. And it's like, all you really want to do when you first start a business is just sell. Like, you just want to figure out how to get money from people.
Yeah, so you can do more with the business,
Right. So when you're on both sides and you're trying to figure out, like, how do I build it and also how do I sell it, that I think is the most difficult position, the one that he's in.
Yeah, and then the third guy is he reached out to me just personally and was asking, I almost feel like he's in my shoes before Dad Gang started. He's been in the agency world for 8 years, which is like 20 years. Yeah. Really. Because the agency world is so brutal with so many clients and all that stuff. But he's been at it for 8 years and has a good brand idea and is just questioning the whole. I told him, I was like, at some point you've done it enough for other people that you have all of it to do it yourself.
That's you.
So, and I told him, like, try and work past that. Keep your current job, because getting to a stable income point where you can leave whatever you're currently doing and then live off of a brand you've built or anything you're selling is not, a short-term plan. You have to keep your job. Yeah. Especially if you're providing for others, you have a family or a dad. But you could build it to a point where you leave like we did. But I will say, like, there comes a point where somebody has to realize, like, I'm either really good at agency life because I am a great employee, or I know everything now and I should at least attempt something on the side. Yeah.
If you want to stop guessing what your customers want and start running tests that actually increase your profit, you need to check out IntelliGems. Problem is, most brands try to guess what products go together, and they try to force them into these like pre-made bundles so that they can increase their average order values. Customers don't like forced choices. This is my hypothesis, right? So if they don't want the hat, then they just won't buy the full bundle. And now you're not selling them the shoes or socks that you could have sold them. So at Royo, we used to have pre-made bundles. We called it a starter pack. It had all of our flavors. We were like, hey, this is the best way for somebody to get started. That's why it's called the starter pack. But we just stopped guessing and we said, all right, what if we test that against a custom bundle? We let them, build their own bundle. So we let the customer pick exactly what was in their bundle. It did take a little bit of dev work, but the result was well worth it. It increased our gross profit per visitor by 20%. That means every visitor we get to our site now, we make 20% more profit. That's pretty huge. So we ran this test using IntelliGems, and the reason we're using IntelliGems is because it tracks profit, not just conversion rate. So most people just want to know which one converts better. I want to know which one makes me more money. So a test that you could be running: stop forcing bundles, stop doing pre-built bundles, and build a landing page that lets your customers build their own bundle. If you're not running tests like this, then you should be, and you should be doing it with IntelliGems. So go to intelligems.io to start testing what actually moves the needle for your brand. If you want to stop wasting the most valuable real estate in your business, turn your tracking page into a revenue generator. We have some stats that show that customers check their tracking page around 3 to 5 times per order. And if you send them tracking updates all the time, they'll check it even more often. They're very engaged and excited at that moment, and you're burning money by not monetizing that attention. So I use Redo to turn my tracking page into a cross-sell machine. I do this at Royo. Some of my co-hosts do it for their brands. This is a layup. Redo recommends products based on what they already bought. So stop sending your traffic to dead ends. Anytime you send somebody a link and you want them to click, you should be giving them an opportunity to buy something after they click. If you want to start monetizing your order tracking page, head over to getredo.com to see how they can help you. Let them know we sent you. All right, let's get back to it. I think that, if I'm reading the vibe of this question, he says, should I, is it actually worth it, or should I just be looking at a different type of business? I have never launched my own e-commerce brand, and I've been in this industry for more than a decade, almost a decade and a half.
Yeah, you probably should.
But there's a reason I haven't, right? And it's because I'm actually being the brand owner is probably where some of the least, it's where the most money is and where the least money is, right?
Yeah.
Once you get to the level Dad Gang is, you start to make pretty good money, better than you really ever could probably with a job, right? But when your brand is doing even $1 million a year or $2 million a year, if it's doing under $1 million a year, depending on how you're getting customers, you're making less, right?
Right.
And to me, I've just always chased businesses where I get paid faster, where the reward cycle is quicker for me.
Yeah.
Right. And to this person, should I be looking at a different type of, you have a wife and 2 kids. I'm going to assume you're not 21 with no experience and no skills. Right. You've got some skills. I would almost say, can you take your skills and package them into a business?
Right.
As opposed to trying to launch a business in that you're completely unfamiliar with, and you have to figure out, how do I sell stuff on the internet? There's just so many easier businesses to launch. I was talking to a young kid about this not long ago, and he was like, yeah, I don't know, I want to try something or whatever. And he's like, I've been thinking about what was he thinking about? It was could I launch an AI business or something like that?
Just because it's hot.
And I'm like, do you know anything about AI? And he's like, no, but a lot of people want it. Maybe I could learn. Right.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, maybe. Do you know how to mow lawns?
Yeah.
Do you know how to could you if I paid you to come power spray out my garbage can, could you do that?
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, I could do that tomorrow.
Yeah.
And I'm like, do that. So that way you don't have to worry about learning how to get customers.
Right.
Right. You're already going to have to learn how to get customers. You go start this AI business, you're going to have to learn AI.
Right.
And you're going to have to learn, how do I even get customers?
It's such a broad question, just because there are so many other great options out there too. I think starting your brand.
I think e-commerce is one of the worst ways to make money in the short term, if I'm honest. Being a brand owner, launching an e-commerce brand is one of the worst ways to make money in the short term.
I was watching a podcast about a guy that had a great paying job, a dad, a little older kids, and he on the weekends was cleaning out garages.
Yeah.
And was people have messy garages. I currently have the worst one. And he's making $700 a garage just to clean it out, and then was doing 10 of them a weekend.
Yeah.
And still not stepping away. What's that, $7,000?
Yeah. Every weekend.
Yeah. And still just not stepping away. And so it was just there's this weird point. You have to decide what you need and want. And what you need is a lot more important usually in life than what you want. So it's like you can build something that'll let you step away from something you may not love doing right now.
Yeah.
But at the same time, then you come into this like, okay, this is working and my job is working. At what point do I make a leap or whatever? But like, I need to know so much more about this guy to know if you should start a brand and what the brand would be.
Dude, yeah. Can you just do some like sweaty job where you can learn how to get customers? Or like, there's just so many easy, like go, start an LLC, get a sales tax license number in your state, go to like B-Stock or some wholesaling website and buy a pallet of like smart watches.
Yeah.
Stick it in your garage. They're going to be $4 per watch and sell them on eBay. Like good intro to e-commerce right there.
Yeah, it's good practice.
Do you know what I mean? Because it's like you're going to pay $500 for this pallet. If you got enough, if you're thinking about starting an e-commerce business, it means you have a little bit of money. Like you got, like it's not $0 to start it. You can start it cheap.
Yeah.
But it's not $0 to start it, right? So if you're already thinking about doing that, like try something like that. Can you like buy a bulk of something that you can sell on eBay, right? And then if you don't have a garage, like go buy a storage unit.
I think that's
go rent a storage unit. You know what I mean? Like
it's the best way to do it that way though. Even if you look at Dad Gang, like I don't know, the more you can start it without like a stressed operation. So like with us, it was like, okay, this factory says if we want to make these hats, we have to make 100. All right, let's make 100.
Yeah.
And then like put them up on Shopify. You can figure that out fairly quickly.
Pretty easily. Yeah.
I knew how to do it within 5 minutes, but it's like they know how to do that. And then from there, it's like, let's see what happens. Yeah. It's not a family crushing swing.
No.
It's just 100 hats.
Worst case scenario, you guys have 100 of these Dad Gang hats.
Yeah. So the palette theory or whatever you want to call it, like go do that and just try something.
Yep.
And you'll find out pretty quickly if you have the chops for it or not.
Right. And to be clear, like you've told the story before, but like Dad Gang, you ordered 100 hats.
Yeah.
It wasn't like you said, it wasn't like a family crushing thing. You could afford 100 hats.
$250 each.
You could afford 100 hats on wholesale, $2.50 each, $2.50 each.
No. The three of us put in $250.
Right, you and your two
for
co-workers.
That first batch.
So it was $750, even if it was just you on your own.
Yeah.
Like it's a chunk, but like you probably have. If you're thinking about launching an e-commerce business anyway, you could probably swing that.
Yeah.
Unless they're thinking about starting a drop shipping business, I suppose.
Right.
But like even then, if you're starting a drop shipping business, you're gonna have to sell it somewhere.
Yeah.
Like if it's going to be free content, like you're going to have to pay for whatever tools you're going to use to make that free content.
Yeah.
If it's going to be paid ads, you're going to have to pay for some ads. Like, so you don't have $0, even if it was $750 all yourself. Worst case scenario, you've got a bunch of Dad Gang hats sitting in your garage. Right. And then all you guys did was just post it on your Instagram. And they sold. So that's the big thing. I think the last thing that I'll say on this, and then we can move on to the next question, is do you have an idea for a brand? Because that's a big thing. Like if you're like, oh, I want to launch an e-commerce brand, and you're looking and you're saying, well, what's hot on Amazon right now? You know what? Things in gummy form is hot. What if I did some other supplement that's not being done, but in a gummy form? So I'll just be the Groons of, I don't know, what's a good example? I'll be the Groons of protein. There's probably protein gummies.
There is.
I'll be the Groons of fiber, right? Like
fiber's the next.
Yeah, fiber's the next thing to come into a gummy. So it's all going to be gummies. All we're going to eat in the future is gummies.
Yeah.
Or gels. Probably mostly gummies though. It'll just be like you wake up in the morning, you eat a gummy, and you've now eaten for the day. Yeah. You take your shot of Ozempic, so you don't need to eat anything else.
Well, and then somebody's going to come out with a wave of anti-gummies and how they're bad for you, and now you got to just syringe yourself or something.
Right. Then you just inject the food.
Yeah, peptides all day.
Only peptides or gummy peptides. Do those exist yet?
No.
Okay, so if this guy, well, actually,
now we're working backwards.
If you can put peptides into a gummy form, that's that's actually a form function change. That might be a good brand idea, but I bet you're gonna have to raise.
The pod. Let's go start that. Right now.
I bet you're gonna have to raise to do that because it's hard. You have to inject peptides.
But back to what you said.
In any case, if this guy's like just kind of like, oh, what drop shipping product is hot right now, or what if he's doing that, I'm like, don't do that. Don't.
No, that's just saying. That's the same as saying like, hey, let's start a business.
Yeah,
that's the same breath.
You're
but
just
with
trying
no
to make
idea
money.
On what to like go after.
If you're doing that, you're just trying to make money. There's a lot of better ways to just make money.
Yeah, start an HVAC company.
Yep, exactly.
You'll make way more money than any D2C beginner.
Yeah, go on Google, get like, bid on like keywords like for HVAC or, a really easy one is like pediatricians in almost any city.
Yeah.
And start getting calls in and then work a deal with like a pediatrician locally to just
be an HVAC service distributor. Or
yeah, just to pay you for those leads, pay you for those jobs,
yeah.
right? Like there's just lots of easier ways to make money. And then a bonus, like what I just said, you're also learning the skill of like doing Google ads, right?
Yeah.
Which if you do want to launch an e-commerce brand, that could help you in the future. So
yeah.
All right, next question.
Cool.
I see guys like Nick Shackelford with 15 calls a day, and I'm like, is that what it takes?
Hate it.
Do you have to live like that to succeed in e-commerce? Because
No.
I got into this to have more freedom, not less. Let me be clear.
Absolutely not.
I mean, I think
I have
that's...
no calls ever.
Yeah. You can't get Bart on the phone.
Just by design.
You can't really get Bart... You can't get you to do anything you don't want to do, which is great. That's what people want. Like, they want to live their life.
Dad gang. That's
I want
all
to do what
do.
I want to do. And like this podcast, it's like you have to like doing it is the main thing.
Yeah.
Just let me be clear about Nick's calendar. Nick's not here to speak for himself, so I'll speak on behalf of him.
Yeah.
Our other co-host, Nick Shackelford, for I guess any first-time viewers, has a lot of calls every day, 15 to 18. Those are not all related to his e-commerce brand.
No.
So he runs...
He does a lot of things. That's
yeah,
why.
he's instrumental in a few different companies. And he also like creates content and stuff like that. He also really likes to consult and coach brands. So he opens up as many spots as he can on his calendar for that.
Yeah.
But also the way that he runs Breeze is very different. So let's actually talk about it in e-commerce because he basically, runs a company. Like Nick runs this company or he's the head of retention for this company. And he spends very little time with his hands on a keyboard. So it's a $50 million brand. He's a key instrumental player in it, and he barely touches his keyboard. He does it all by coordinating and directing his team.
Yeah.
And for that, he uses calls because he likes that. That's how he prefers to do it.
Yeah.
Not everybody prefers to do it that way. Some people like to communicate async, and they'll communicate in Slack and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Right.
He also said that they do like ads manager metric reporting by the hour.
Yeah.
So that's just so different.
Just to be clear, yeah, Breeze, Nick's brand, they're playing a very different game than almost anybody who, like, they're playing a very different game than Dad Gang.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They, from the start, most people don't start thinking, hey, we're going to get $1 billion valuation one day. Most people don't start thinking that until they actually see that they have the opportunity.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
Breeze planned on that. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So, like, they're all so advanced as e-commerce. They've all done this so much for other brands, and they've been doing it for so long that they planned on that from the start. Like, this is going to be a business that gets $1 billion valuation.
Yeah.
And we're going to sell it for $1 billion one day or something like that, right? Maybe not that exactly, but that was the plan from the start. Most people are kind of getting into this to, like, not have to take calls all the time, right? They don't want to do a service business because they have to deal with people too much on a service business. So like, I want to sell a product on the internet where I don't have to be on calls all the time. I don't have to be like, it sells while I'm out on the boat.
Right.
I want to sell hats on the internet because they're cheap to ship. They're cool. People like them.
Yeah.
People understand what it is. I don't have to like oversell it. I can be out on the boat. I can be sleeping. I can be, fishing. That's also happens on a boat. I don't know. Everything's happening on a boat in my brain right now.
Well, it is Dad Gang, so there's not much.
There's lots of boats.
Sleep or boating, but
right. Like, or you can be with your family. You can be at sporting events. Whatever.
I think that's the thing is like by design, all three of us, like want to build the brand and the community and the meaning and like the impact of Dad Gang way more than taking a bunch of calls and all of that, because if we can lean in and work on that all the time and then be great dads and present dads and have time with our families, I think that's the trade-off, right? It's can you design a brand to help build the brand and the impact while also, designing it around your life. All right, let's talk AI tools, but with email. There's a lot of AI tools out there. Every single platform is telling you, hey, we rolled out an AI tool, which is awesome, but sometimes it can mean nothing. So one of the things I love about working with Attentive is not only do they present AI tools and let you know when they're available, but for us, they walk you through them. You get to do a trial. You get to see if it's even working before you sign up. And at the end of the day, it almost feels like there's no added cost to adding these tools. That might sound crazy, but I just added AI Pro, AI Grow, AI Audiences, AI Send Time, and all these AI enhancements to my Attentive stack. And it's been incredible. Like we use Attentive. I'm not just writing for Attentive because we use it. There's other platforms out there, but these tools are insane. Like AI Audiences, you always think your segment is perfect, right? Oh, I'm so good at segmenting my audiences. But now you can turn on AI Audiences and that segment gets cleaned up even more. It doesn't deplete the segment and remove people. It's just cleaning it up to give you more people that are more likely to act on a send, an SMS send, or an email send. And it's just been great. I turn it on almost every single time. So if you haven't yet, get Attentive because it's awesome. Email and SMS in just one place. And then check out their AI tools. You don't have to just jump in, get a 60-day trial or whatever trial they offer you. They'll prove out that they work. And from there, have fun.
I consult across 10 e-commerce brands totaling around $250 million a year in revenue. And if I had to build one of them from scratch without spending $1 on paid ads, here's exactly where I would start. All right, guys, you guys are in for a treat because one of our partners for this season, Social Snowball, is just letting me have free reign. So I'm going to do like a little mini series inside the podcast where I talk about how I'd go from 0 to 50K per day using no paid ads, just only using affiliates. So let's get into that. So at day 0, you have a problem. You have no customers to turn into affiliates. You have just nobody, right? So I would launch this strategy entirely on TikTok Shop, but TikTok Shop has hard limits on how many creators you can seed. So it locks you into small creators only, and it doesn't let you reach out to very many creators. So what gives, TikTok? I want to launch on your platform. You won't let me talk to big creators, and you won't let me talk to very many creators. So there's a workaround. I use Social Snowball to do mass discovery, outreach to larger creators via email. They check their email, so you will be able to work with them. And there's no limits here, so you can launch faster, launch more, and launch bigger. Social Snowball auto-enrolls them directly into my TikTok Shop affiliate program. So that way I can bypass TikTok's restrictions, build a bigger, better, commission-only sales force from day one, and have a lot of people posting me on TikTok Shop. So that's where I'm going to get my initial traction with this kind of 0 to 1K per day stage. So my actual D2C site is not going to get very many sales here because most people are going to buy on TikTok Shop, but I'm going to have that there and it's going to exist in the background for halo effect. A lot of people are going to see the product on TikTok Shop. They're going to go Google it. They're going to buy through the site. So Social Snowball manages affiliate links, payouts across both channels seamlessly, site and TikTok Shop. If you're not already running an affiliate program, you should be. And you should be using Social Snowball from day one. So head over to socialsnowball.io and tell them we sent you. All right, back to the show. If we're talking about the upside of e-commerce, that is probably one of the main upsides of e-commerce is that you can grow a brand to a pretty big point like you guys.
Yeah.
And have a pretty free schedule.
Yeah, and don't get like, we take calls.
Right.
That makes sense for sure. Like,
yeah,
we probably had like the most calls last week than we've had in a while, but it's just like the brand is growing.
Yeah.
But at the same time, outside of like great opportunities and partnerships and maybe a platform that can really help, what other calls do you need to take? You should be working on your brand.
Yeah. I mean, when it gets to a very big point, maybe you have team to manage and stuff like that. But like you guys you have like one contractor, I think, that helps you. Or
we have our 3PL, which we just have so much trust and comms with in Slack that like, there's no need for
you don't have to get on regular calls
with the 3PL.
You guys have a group text between the 3 co-founders.
Yeah. That's how the brand really
You do have 3 co-founders. I will note that not a lot of people get into this. It's just them.
Yeah.
So they are probably going to have to bring on other contractors. And
yeah, we have a customer service team that's contracted, and Grant oversees them, and they have some check-in calls too. And then we more recently brought on an actual media buyer, but still just a good friend of mine that we Slack or text. If some like great opportunity comes up within ads manager or something we could do more of or less of, or something needs to get fixed, then like I'll go to typing comms first,
Yeah.
like text or Slack. And if it can get figured out there, then there's no need to, waste 30 minutes on a call.
Right.
Yeah.
If you start a service business, no matter what the service business is, if it's an HVAC company or a marketing agency, you got to be available to talk when the customer wants to talk.
Yeah, your schedule isn't yours anymore.
Yes. So your customers run your schedule. Now, eventually, hopefully you can hire people and you yourself as the owner aren't necessarily subject to that same type of scheduling.
Right.
But it's sort of flip-flopped. You'll make more money at first in a service business.
Right.
But you'll have less time. With an e-commerce business, you'll make almost no money, but you will have time.
Yeah, that's just life, right? That's a trade-off you experience all the time is like...
Yeah. And then they flip-flop later. As an e-commerce business gets larger, you have a little bit less time. And, as a service business gets
I think
larger,
the best formula is always going to be how can you build something that sustains your life and gives you time. Like that's the win, right? I think that's the ultimate win. You don't have to make, it's also like, who are you as a person? Like, what do you need, right? And what is the amount of money that'll keep you not stressed and gives you time back? And to some people, it's like, I need to make so much money a year. And some people, it's like, just whatever. I don't need fancy things or any of that.
I think actually, if you're somebody who already has like a good paying job and you're trying to do a side thing, then you should start something like an e-commerce brand or something that people can buy 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And the way that you promote it is like on your schedule, right? So whether you're doing organic content or running ads or whatever, it's like a few hours of work for you whenever you can. Yeah. And people buy it all the time, right?
Like right before this episode, I just posted something that I needed to go out for the day, and then it's like,
you did all your work for the day right before this episode.
That one post went up, and I'm done. You know? But no, it's like
checked it off.
Yeah.
So if you have a great job and you're trying to start a side thing, you should start a side thing that does not take. I'm assuming if you have a great job, it's a pretty demanding job. Usually, right. Then your side thing can't really take up too much of your time. So you should probably look at a business model like e-commerce.
Yeah. If you can put in
you're not in a rush to make money either.
If you can put in like an hour or two, and then maybe on some sporadic nights, you can kind of like stay up and work on the biz. That's great. And I think that's the best way to do it.
But it's also like the staying up and work, like sometimes it's just picking and packing orders in the early days, and everybody can do that together, right? Like your family can do that together.
Yeah.
So it's like you don't need money quickly.
Yeah.
So like do a business where it's like, it's going to actually cost you a little bit of money for a little while, but it won't take a lot of time, and it can go.
It's got to be bucketed as like this nice to have, you know?
If you need money yesterday, then you should probably start like a service business or something like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
To answer this guy's question, to run an e-com brand, you don't need a full calendar of calls. Yep. You should be working more.
Yes. Yeah. If you're doing that many calls, you're not
working.
If you're not Nick Shackelford, you should not be on that many calls.
But it's got to be an asterisk of like Nick isn't taking that many calls just for his brand.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, and he does
misconstrued.
Does take a lot more than most people just for his brand.
Yeah.
But it's because he doesn't execute the like stuff. Like he's specifically trying to stay out of execution. Yeah. Right. Not that he can't. He just is like specifically trying to stay out of execution. He wants the team to be able to do that. Right?
Yeah, no calls.
It's a very scalable way of doing it.
No calls.
No calls. All right, third one. I'm doing about 2 million, but I'm burnt out, and I feel like I'm working more than I ever did at my corporate job and making less per hour. At what point does this actually start paying off, or did I just build myself a worse job?
Well, he says he's working more than he ever did at his corporate job on the 2 million.
I'm working more than I ever did at my corporate job, and I'm making less per hour. So, look, the math is right. The math is right. So, if you're making $2 million a year, you aren't making very much personal income, probably.
Yeah.
And so that is correct. I think the math's there. What are you spending 60 hours a week on?
Yeah. Oh, gosh, sometimes I wish they could at least put like, this is what I sell.
Do you know why you're wondering that?
Why?
It's because if it's taking you 60 hours a week and you're just grinding it out for $2 million a year in e-commerce, and look, it's crazy because $2 million a year sounds like so much to most people, right? Mm-hmm. But $2 million in a year in e-commerce is maybe a $50,000 salary for the owner, right?
Maybe
you
might
you
just
don't.
not
I
pay
don't think you
yourself.
have very good product market fit then.
Yeah.
If you're working that hard to only do $2 million a year, I keep putting an asterisk on only because I'm like, that's great.
He
that's
might
great.
He might be all alone too.
You've been that is well, yes, Bart. You assume everybody's got two buddies helping them with their business.
Yeah.
It's just him. Yes.
Okay, cool.
So he's doing all three
that
jobs.
makes sense. If I was doing ops, customer service, marketing, shipping,
yes,
all of that at $2 million, then yeah, that would be a lot of
you
work.
would be feeling burnt out, and you wouldn't be making very much money.
I don't know. I mean, that's why I ask what he's selling is like, what is the margin on whatever he's selling?
Yeah, well,
Could be like
here,
super expensive
I can
water
backwards-
filters or something.
I could backwards math this a little bit. All right. So
Yeah.
let's say, I don't really care what the business is. Let's say he's got 70% margin on his product.
Yeah.
Right. And so that 2 million already off the rip, 600K of that is eaten up in product cost.
Yeah.
After landed product cost, shipping, handling, all of that, let's call it another 10%. So 700K is eaten up out of that, right? So we got $1.3 million left. To make $2 million, he might be spending $500,000 to $700,000 a year on ads,
Yeah.
right? And so our 1.3
It's usually
million,
one of your biggest costs of the year.
yeah. So our 1.3 million becomes, let's call it 600K.
Or just breaking even. Who knows?
Yeah, right. That's the thing is if his ads aren't working really, right? So if he's spending $700,000 on ads to make $2 million, he should have margin still, depending on So then our 1.3 million then becomes 600K, and then we've got like SaaS costs is going to be 5K, 100K a year, call it. So that becomes 500K. You got to keep cash in the business. So like we probably have 100K left over. If there's some vendors, things like that, gorgeous, then we're down to 50K, right?
Yeah.
And so
And you probably need
he's
that for
doing all
more
that.
inventory or whatever he's selling.
Yeah, well, I accounted for like 400K in cash in the business for inventory. So should have cash in the business. One more thing. If you're running an e-commerce brand right now, doing somewhere between 1 million and 10 million, and you're stuck on something specific, whether it's your margins or your ad spend, your team structure, whatever it is, I do a limited number of consulting calls. It's just you and me going through your numbers and figuring out what to fix. There's a link in the description if you want to see if it's a fit. Look, if you're growing, just grind. I think if that was like a relatively accurate description, that's like probably.
Did he say how long he's been at it or no?
He didn't. He didn't. If he's been at doing this for several years and it's not moving off of that, then I would just say it's like you just don't have, like, there's not product market fit for more scale.
Yeah.
Or you're having to spend too much on ads and your margins are almost nothing.
Yeah.
Or you're having to reduce your price of your product too much and your margins are almost nothing. There's something going on here because
if this person watches and sees their question answered.
Yeah. What do they do?
I would love for them to like privately email in and like.
Yeah, or DM one of us.
Yeah, it doesn't have to get exposed what the brand is or whatever because they probably don't want that. But yeah, I don't know. It's like knowing the time frame and all that stuff really helps. And then $2 million to build anything that can sell at $2 million by yourself is impressive.
Yeah.
It is impressive. Like even at a break even,
you're at the worst point. Though.
Yeah,
you are at the worst point if you're doing this by yourself.
Yeah, and you're doing enough to create $2 million of demand. Say it's annually. That there's probably some fixes in it that can change how this is all happening.
Yeah, and
one of them, obviously includes like just whatever part of the business he's struggling with, whether it's ads or whether it's margin or what he's paying for certain softwares, like. Trying to bring in somebody that at least has the knowledge or not even hire
coaching.
them, but do some kind of coaching or mentorship because it's kind of a shame to see somebody build something to $2 million.
Yeah.
If a few tweaks would make it a little better.
Somewhere in the link of this, in the description of this video, I'll probably have a consulting link or something like that. So
yeah. Throw my mentor pass link.
Yeah, hit me up. I'll chat with you for free, or Bart will chat with you for a fee on Mentor Pass.
No, I'll chat for free. That I really like.
Yeah, DMS like you said.
Because these are the things that like okay, I wish this person would come on.
Yeah,
and then like
but we could fix it live. That would be really cool.
Yeah, and we could go like line by line of the things that are going wrong. Yes, there is an instance where like, oh, this is just fucked. Like this isn't fixable. But
Okay, just to try and talk through the possibilities here.
Yeah.
There is a possibility that like it's not really fixable because you're already struggling to get the 2 million and your margins are squeezed because you've had to reduce your price and spend more on ads. And like it's just really, hard. So maybe you could run better ads, but maybe that's not even a possibility, right?
Yeah.
Like maybe it's just like there's not enough demand for this product and there's too many competitors.
Yeah.
Right. There's a too much supply, not enough demand for this product. And I would say the symptom or the like tell for that would be, have you been stuck at 2 million for a while? And by a while, I mean like 12 months, 18 months.
Yeah.
The monthly numbers haven't moved, right?
Yeah.
And there's probably some seasonality in the business, so that's why I say maybe 2 years, right?
Yeah.
Like it's kind of been there for 2 years and it hasn't really moved.
Are you at a point where, a lot of the time the people that can spend the most end up winning?
Yes.
So can you even spend more on ads if you are? I mean, we've done some imaginary math here, but if you're at a 1.3 blended, and are you able to carry that 1.3 at like, I don't know, a 20% increase in spend?
And so I think it's if you've been stuck at 2 million, then it's probably because they're just, unless you suck at something. So you either suck at something and you could just like get better with some mentorship or like an agency that could help you get better at it. Or like there just isn't enough, like there's not enough of a market here for this product. You know, you're another minimal wallets brand. And it's like, nope, just don't do that anymore, right?
Don't do that.
The ship sailed a while ago. Don't do that anymore. So like or that could be it, right?
Pivot off of your product or introduce more products. Like one of the things for us is like,
the answer is always either better marketing or product expansion. Yeah,
product expansion with, I don't know, in an intelligent way. Like we sell $35 hats. It's not like the most expensive item you can buy. Our hats could easily be $60 compared to some of the other people that make hats. But we introduced like USA made super high quality t-shirts that are $45. But we did it because we made hats for 3 years and we're like, a t-shirt, we should try it, I think
people who wear hats also sometimes wear t-shirts.
Call me crazy.
Every now and then.
They have to wear a shirt more than they have to wear a hat.
Yes, they are in most cases required to wear a shirt.
Yeah.
So let's assume they wear t-shirts.
Yeah.
Right? So product expansion could be the answer, but product expansion also is like, that's a lot of work. It's unproven.
It's new money.
Know what I mean? It's new money.
Yeah.
Yeah, you might suck at something, or it might just be like there's not enough supply. Or there's not enough demand, or it's like the other scenario here is that's where they are now, but it's like they're on the way up.
Yeah, pull up the pull up the gold mine meme where it's like or the diamond mine meme where the guy's chiseling away.
Yes,
and he's so close.
You were right on the other side.
Yeah, but he could just fix, like being a single founder and just like making enough creative to test things, or
it's really hard.
Yeah, or like. Maybe conversion rate is shot. How do you change that? How do you work with a dev or a Gem Pages or any of these?
Even use something like IntelliGems, sponsor the show, you know, and like do your price testing. That there could be a breakthrough there for sure
that's
on
the
your
thing,
marketing.
like
but like if you're on the way up and you're at 2 million, then it's like, well, just wait. Like you're almost there at like 4 or 5 million, your salary becomes much more reasonable. You know what I mean? Like it's still not crazy. You're still not rich, but it becomes way more reasonable when you're making 4 or 5 million a year, and if you're a single founder. You know?
The other thing I will say, just on like a pure human level, is that like you've built something to 2 million.
Yeah,
and it's a shame to like, I don't know.
Don't
I
give
have a
up.
feeling you're.
Don't give up without.
I have a feeling you're there and you're really close.
Yeah,
but being stuck does suck, and I get it, but. You should try and find some optimizations on like how you can change that.
Yeah, and
or make 1.8 million, but with more profit somehow.
Right, that could be it too. Like you might actually be able to
make
like less money but more profit.
Yeah, nobody likes that though.
Right,
because everybody's such top line chasers that they don't know there's a second option of making less money but more profit
and having less stress and more time.
Yeah.
Those
screenshots don't look good on
X. The screenshots, the year over year declines.
Yeah.
You have real kick in the groin.
Yeah.
No, I think we've kind of look at the scenario is either you're stuck at 2 million and it's either because it's like you're doing everything right and there isn't a breakthrough available, or like you need some coaching. You just need there's a breakthrough, right? You're doing something sucky. Or you're at 2 million on the way up and you just gotta like keep going. You know what I mean? It sucks for a while. Yes, you are currently at the time where you built your self-worth job. His question was, did I just build my self-worth job? Yes, currently you did.
Yeah.
But not forever.
Yeah.
You know?
And doing those, I have some friends that do these, like, don't get stuck in the like calculations of, well, I've broken it down to how much I made and how much I made per hour, and this is my life now, and this is how much I worked before, and like, don't get stuck in the math of all of that, because you could be a move away from a breakthrough, and then all those stressed out calculations of making $5 an hour because of your ecom brand don't matter anymore at all.
And let me be clear about why it's important to make a high rate per unit of work at a job. It's because a job is not your wealth building vehicle.
Yeah.
Right. You have to go extract money from your job and live on it, and then take some portion of that money and try and put it into some other wealth building vehicle.
Yeah.
That's like long term, right? That's investments or whatever. A business is not like that. A business is the wealth building vehicle. So now you are going to work, extracting your salary and building your wealth building vehicle.
The outcome is on you.
Yes.
Yeah. Awesome. Keep going.
Cool.
Not keep going on the questions, but this guy needs to keep going.
Just keep going.
And hit us up.
Guy or girl? I guess I don't know if this one was a guy or girl. We assume they're all dudes.
No, you can say you guys, and it applies to everybody,
guys,
I think.
Yeah. Do you, this one's kind of funny. Do you have to give up your dreams when you have kids? Can you, genuinely, can you build a business or chase a goal that's difficult while also being a present parent, or is that a fantasy?
No, it's statistically a reality that most human beings reach their career prime in their 40s.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you look at the data that talks about when most people hit their like financial prime, both men and women, is late 30s into their 40s, which just based off biology, you're having kids by then if you want them and if you're able to. So no, I mean, what? That does not stop your dreams.
Do you have to give up on your dreams when you have kids? Some dreams you have to give up when you have kids. Yes.
Yeah, what kind of dreams are you having?
Okay, so
what dude's been chasing being a soccer star?
Yes, that would be the type of dream you would have to give up.
Yeah,
if you wanted to be a responsible parent, right? Something like that, a time-bound dream. Usually, if you wanted to be a country music pop star, something like that, that might be a dream that has to take a back burner. And those types of dreams, specifically, if you want to be a pop star, those are time-bound. You're not going to be a pop star when you're 40. Right.
I wouldn't even say give up. You just have to reallocate your time on how much time you spend on that. Like if somebody's an incredible vocalist and there's promise there, then they have kids, they shouldn't just stop because
your priorities will have to change. Or you can just accept being a bad parent, I suppose. Right? Like you could just be like, no, I'm not going to do that.
Yeah, no focus on the kid would be ridiculous.
Yeah, that's an option, I suppose. It's not one I would add. It's not a good option.
No.
But yeah, to be honest, so this is, and to try and step this back a little bit, before I had kids, my main goal was to get to the Olympics. And basically around the time we had our first kid, I was like, that's not going to happen at this point.
Yeah.
So there are certain dreams or goals that are pretty time bound in your life. Being a professional athlete is one of the main ones.
Yeah.
Where it's if you aren't established in it and it's not the main way you make your living, by the time you have kids, you are unlikely to achieve it, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Unless you're the dude who, I don't know, that high school coach who became a pitcher in the MLB or whatever. There's every now and then, but I would say yes, if you want to be a professional athlete, then...
And you haven't been one yet.
And you are not yet a professional athlete, or you're a very low-level professional athlete that's not making very much money, and you have kids, you're now unlikely to achieve that dream.
Yeah.
Right.
But
having kids will make you unlikely to achieve that dream. That doesn't mean it's not worth it.
Yeah, and it's less likely for sure. But should you give up on it? I don't think so.
The responsible decision might be to give up on it. Does that make sense?
A little bit.
Yeah.
I could push back on it.
That is such a edge case though. Like we're talking about, you have a goal of being a professional athlete.
Yeah.
That's an edge case.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So
like we're actually working with we've been talking to a pitcher. I believe he's a pitcher. If I'm wrong, I'm bad. But he's not professional, but a college athlete that just had a child young in college. And he's already on his way. Like he's really, really good at baseball.
Yes.
So in that instance,
I would say then that he's already
gonna figure out a way to
I would say then that he's already made it.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
He's
like
going to be an
if
amazing
you're already
dad
tagged for and also if he's in college, he may already be making quite a bit of money.
Yeah, with NIL stuff. Yeah.
Right.
But he's still a great dad. The kid is at practice and is super involved. And so he's not
those guys can be great dads.
Yeah.
The guys who can make their whole living from their sport.
Yeah.
They can be great dads. If you don't make that much from your sport, this was my case. If you don't make that much from your sport, so you have to work all the time, and then you have to dedicate everything that needs to be dedicated to becoming an Olympic athlete. This is probably most Olympic sports.
Yeah.
Becoming an Olympic athlete, it's going to be hard to be a good parent.
Yeah.
It's like...
Yeah. It's all circumstantial.
Becoming a professional athlete is a very selfish endeavor.
Yeah, it's all about you.
Yes. Yes. So it's hard.
It's about nobody else.
Yeah. So okay. Edge case, some dreams you probably have to give up, but most dreams I would say aren't time bound. So that would be one, or being like a model or like pop singer. Like you could even pick another genre and
but let's be real. These people are probably wanting to start brands,
start a business.
Yeah,
that's not time bound.
Yeah.
Right. So you might have to do it more slowly.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Or start a brand about parenting.
Yeah, there you go. Or just start a brand called Dad Gang. You can't call it Dad Gang. That one's already taken. You could do Gang Dad, I guess.
Don't do that. I don't want to compete on that. I don't want the Google term competition
Gang
on
Dad.
that. No, but
yes, it's not time bound, so you can just spend less time on it.
You can find, we started Dad Gang because we became dads.
Yeah.
Like there's no, if you look at the core of it, it wasn't like we weren't parents. We're like, oh, this dad thing's kind of popping. Let's start a brand. Like it formed the idea to start a business. So it inspired us to want to chase something better. And I think there's something really cool about showing your kids that dad's doing what he wants to, right? Like, He built and to say like I leaned into this more because you were born.
Yeah. Rather
than like the opposite of that, I guess.
I mean, look, there's probably some other cases here where if you're in, a Y Combinator class, like you're trying to build a tech company, you're in a Y Combinator class, you're not taking any salary, you're living with 4 people, and you guys get, you and your significant other get pregnant and you're going to have you're really 2 years out from making any real money. You guys have some decisions to make, right? Because you're not going to be able to provide and you're going to be very busy.
Yeah.
You're not going to be able to be very present. So there are some things that are like really it's really all or nothing types of things where it's like you almost have to ignore everything for that goal, you know, if you're not already there yet, right? So again, you could be Elon Musk can have a kid. He's already there. Does that make sense? Sam Altman can have a kid.
He's got 12.
He's already there, right? Yeah. Sam Altman, I don't know if he has.
No, I don't know.
Elon Musk has a bunch. Yeah.
They're all AI kids.
Yeah. But so once you've already made it, you can have a kid. But if you are on the come up in something like that, right?
Yeah.
Being like starting the next big tech company or becoming a professional athlete or being the next Taylor Swift or something like that, those would be the types of dreams you'd probably have to be like, okay, I'm going to have to reprioritize this.
Yeah.
And like those would be the types of people who, if they asked me like, oh, I really want to have kids, should I have kids? I'd be like, you might be one of the few people I would tell to hold off.
Yeah.
Right? Usually if someone wants to have kids, I'm like, you should go for it.
Yeah.
Right.
But tell everybody.
But for it. But for most people, who are talking like starting a practical business, an e-commerce brand or something like that, I think you're fine. You just aren't going to be able to spend as much time on it, so it will take longer for it to get big.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, the importance of it is like, what is your dream? And I think at the end of the day, if you're showing your family and your kids that like dad still went after his dreams and this wasn't a burden, then that's a really good thing for your entire family to witness. And then I think, with the podcast that we host and what people are asking about, it's probably more likely like should have started e-com business. And if that's your dream, then go for it. It's not like you could put them to bed and work on it, like there's ways to make it happen. Or if they're at daycare or school, I'd say the overall answer is no. Don't give up on that dream just because you had kids.
Right. If e-commerce is poor until you're super rich, at what level does the money actually start feeling worth the sacrifice? And is there a faster path to get there? What was it for you guys? Where were you at in top line revenue when you started feeling like your personal income was like getting the payoff in your personal income?
It's a good question.
I think we had the question earlier. At 2 million, it's going to feel the worst.
Yeah.
Because you're like, there's something here.
Yeah.
So it's like one to like 2.
Yeah, because
it's like there's something here, but you still aren't making very much. Usually, I think around 4 or 5, you can extract some decent owner pay from that if you want to. Some people just don't, though. Some people don't do a good job of paying themselves.
Yeah, that's just a big topic within itself. Is like, what? Because I've heard numerous founders talk about this. Founders of 9-figure businesses that are like, don't forget to pay yourself, because there does come a point, unfortunately, for some brands that like it all doesn't work out and you never paid yourself while it was good. Yeah. And it's kind of, I don't know, it's kind of a big regret amongst some founders that are like, well, it was there. It wouldn't have hurt the growth. There was nothing that was going to impact the growth of the company. But I was just so obsessed of refeeding that thing that I never actually got to see the fruits of my labor, because I just didn't. I believe that this is going to run forever, and at some point I'll reach the pay myself point. But you're right. I think it was around like that 4 or 5 mark but we also like, and I know everybody's not like fortunate enough to like have good jobs while they're building their brand, but we did. We had jobs while building the brand, and so like everybody kind of stepped away at their own time. Mm-hmm. So there was
one of them still hasn't, right?
Yeah, I mean today when we're shooting, EJ's still the VP of like North American operations for Mere Drinkware. I always just say he's a robot. The guy can just do so much at once. But with that being said, like, yeah, it depends. Like, do you have a job, and is it a good paying job? Is your safety net okay to like build this thing comfortably? Yeah. But yeah, you're right. I think around that point, you're like, okay, well, let's not, like.
Yeah. Here's probably a good framework for it. When a significant amount of income to you is roughly, call it 2 or 3% of the company's revenue. So like, again, if you're doing $10 million in revenue, 200 to 300K is a significant amount of money to a single founder. Does that make sense?
For sure.
If you're doing 5 million, it's still like 150, right? We had a question one time from somebody who was doing 30 million, and I actually know and have talked to this guy, and his philosophy is like, I want my back against the wall. I want to take as little as I possibly can to live until I sell it for 9 figures.
Yeah, depends. It's what mode do you want to be in?
That's what he wants.
Yeah.
I don't think I would ever want that. Right. So
that's so stressful.
Based on what this person's saying, at what level does this money actually start feeling worth the sacrifice?
Yeah.
Take top line revenue, 3% of that. Like, assume that's what you could, pay yourself. And if you pay yourself that, the business won't really feel it. Right. So 2 or 3% of the revenue, the business won't really feel that in a huge way. Yeah. But you will. Right. Yeah. So what is that number?
You should also meet with
that's a rule of thumb. Don't just this is not financial advice. I should probably
It's not financial advice, but you should meet with your CPA or who's ever doing your books and come up with a responsible formula on how to pay yourself.
Owner pay. Yep.
Because otherwise you're just like winging it. Mm-hmm. And so working with your firm or anybody that helps you with accounting.
I would highly recommend the book Profit First.
Yeah.
And just find a
screw the book. Just those 2 words.
Yeah.
Just that.
Find an accountant that like understands that system.
Yeah.
It's just a system for cash management.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think as a rule of thumb, it's like, it's usually 4 or 5 million. That's about the point at which like that amount of money is significant to you as a human individual, but it's like the business almost doesn't even feel it.
Yeah, and how lean are you too?
Right.
Like somebody doing 2 million, but crazy lean and still has time in their life, unicorn. But like that person could probably pay themselves a little sooner if they have a lot of margin and stuff.
Well, to be clear, I think even at 2 million, you should be paying yourself. You're just probably not able to pay yourself very much.
Yeah.
Right. So this person's, when does the money start feeling worth the sacrifice? Starts to feel worth it for most people around 4 or 5 million. That's like when that number set. Now, if your threshold for income is $500K a year, then it's going to be more. Right. Like you're going to have to wait a little bit. You know, 15 or 20 million or something like that. But yeah, that's like when it really starts to compound. And when you're, doing 20 or 30 million dollars a year, it starts to feel real worth it. Cause by then a lot of times, like a lot of that day to day you had to do when it was at 2 million, you don't have to do that anymore.
Yeah.
You have other people doing it.
Oh yeah. And don't,
it's real worth it.
Yeah. You gotta at some point just be practical and be like, okay, I did all of this to build a brand up to 20, 30 million is hard. So I hope you're rewarding yourself a little bit.
Yeah. That's it, man. Anything else you want to tell these people? Have kids.
No, I think,
have kids. Everybody have kids.
Yeah. My best friends always tell me have as many kids as possible. But I think all of these questions correlate to like, how do I build a brand or a business or anything while being a parent? And I think, like, I always just kind of make a joke with the guys. Like, I took a Zoom call the other day while riding my bike. So I was just like on the bike on a Zoom call. And it's like, if you don't have time, make time. And I think people forget that, like, you have your 5 to 9. You have your 5 a.m. to 9 a.m. You have your 6 p.m. to 11. Like, you do have to sacrifice time.
Yes.
And you have to be good with just allocating what you're going to work on, how much time you're going to spend with your family, all these things. The more you can pour into your family, I think that's the best return on investment. But like, you shouldn't be afraid to go build something just because you became a parent.
Do you involve your family in the business?
Here and there, yeah.
Yeah.
Like they go.
I think I see some other people doing that a little bit, and I'm like, I think that's good too. If you can
put the kids in some ads and stuff, and
my family doesn't understand my businesses at all, but if you can involve your family in your business, I think that's
for sure.
good.
We've gone on trips and stuff. Like one time we went and did our sit down with Mookie Betts in Arizona, and like brought the family out for that. And yeah, of course. Like the more you can do that, the better too, because it's like they're involved and they can understand a little bit more of like, why is Dad selling hats in his office all day?
I think that's a good, like, for an e-commerce brand too.
Yeah.
That is like, kids can understand that very easily. Yeah. Like, oh, you sell those hats. Right. And then they're like, well, why do you got to be in your office to sell hats? Right. Like, shouldn't you go out on the street and sell hats? No, I sell them on this computer machine. Yeah. Sell them on the internet. But yeah, okay, cool. I think that's it. Cool. Subscribe, do all the things that people say on whatever platform you're listening or watching on. Bye.